Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Armourer's Bench. Today we're going to continue our series on the Sten gun. While the ongoing coronavirus pandemic has prevented some archival research I had planned, which would have informed much of the Sten series, our good friend Richard at the Vickers Machine Gun Collection and Research Association has come to our aid and we're able to cover some of the loading accessories developed for the Sten's magazines. As we know, the Sten uses a 32 round double stack single feed magazine, which can trace its origins back through the Lanchester machine carbine to the MP28 magazine designed by Hugo Schmeisser. The nature of the single feed makes the magazine difficult to load by hand, with the last few rounds very difficult to insert. So a series of 4 marks of magazine fillers were developed. These are described in the British Army's list of changes in February 1943. The Mark I is described as consisting of a lever mounted on a short case which conforms to the shape of the magazine. It is hand operated, the loading lever being given a rocking motion during filling. The Mark I slipped onto the top of the magazine with a riveted spring catch, which indexed into a notch in the front of the Sten mag. The Mark II is very similar, but simplified, by having the spring catch mounted on the rear instead of the side, where it engaged with a small rectangular slot in the rear wall of the magazine, and the rear of the spring is turned up slightly to allow the user to remove it. The Mark III, which is the rarest of the fillers, is described as hand-operated but of a different design from the Mark I and Mark II. It consists essentially of a spring-loaded vertical plunger, which is attached externally to a case, the latter to assemble on the magazine. There is no retaining catch, and it comprises of the following parts. The case is a rectangular shaped steel pressing with a tube welded thereto. The latter, which houses the plunger and spring, has a hole drilled at the lower end to accommodate a pin which restricts the amount of movement of the plunger and acts as a stop for the compressing spring. The plunger is made of 2 laminated steel strips welded together, the top part of which is set to form a handle. The body of the plunger is slotted to accommodate the compression spring. The top part is splayed to form a suitable contact for the cartridge. And the other more common filler is the Mark IV, which is a much simpler design with a loading lever mounted on top of a clip which is attached at the rear of the magazine body and retained by a spring similar to that of the Mark II. Rich has very kindly demonstrated the use of 2 of the most common fillers, the Mark II and the simpler Mark IV. We'll start by letting our hand model Rich demonstrate the Mark II.
So a little quick clip of loading a Sten gun magazine. Now there's 2 types of magazine loading tool. The first type here, the second here, that's commonly referred to as an airborne one. It's clearly smaller, but was in use with much wider troops, and I'm sure these were in use with airborne as well. So you've got 2 teeth almost on this brass piece. It slots over the magazine and this rear spring just clips into there. You can then hold it in any way you want, but actually if you hold it like that, you can depress the magazine with the rear tooth, depress the magazine follower, which allows you to pop around in and put it into place with the front tooth. So 1, you can see that that's pushing that back in. Sometimes it misses, look, goes straight at the back. My fault for not holding it in position properly. Starting to increase in tension now on the spring as I get more and more rounds in there. About just over halfway. Got the full complement of 32 rounds for the magazine here. And just the last round in, pop that off like so, and we've got a full Sten magazine.
So, as we saw there, it took Rich just under 2 minutes to load that magazine. But he was doing his best to show various angles, and unlike a British soldier during World War II, Rich doesn't regularly load these magazines using one of these fillers. Despite that, the clip gives a good idea of how fast you could load a mag once you got into the groove. Excuse this brief interruption, guys. I just wanted to ask you to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you've hit the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss future videos. We need all the help we can get to overcome YouTube's algorithms, so please drop us a like, and if you have any questions about the video, please leave us a comment and we'll happily answer them. This all helps new people discover our videos. Similarly, as I always say, please share the videos with friends. Tab is an entirely viewer-supported project, so if you'd like to support the channel further, check out the links in the description box below. And don't forget to follow us over on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. Right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Now let's see how the much smaller, lighter, simpler, and cheaper Mark IV filler works.
Now to use the later type, the second type, you align this little hook there with the latch on the back, and you use the lever to depress the magazine, the follower, so it allows you to pop the round in, push that in place, and then the lever depresses the next round. The advantage over this tool is that it allows you to put the rounds in place without risking pushing the bullet back into the case if the case hasn't been packed properly. However, this one is more likely to cause damage to the brass casing on the side. And we've got 4 rounds left, so it's at 28 rounds, and it's starting to get very stiff now. It's still working, and we can still get 31. And just as it's really tense on that spring now, we just have to put a little bit more effort in, and we have that second magazine full.
With the Mark IV filler, Rich is able to load the mag in about 1 minute 15 seconds. The stability of resting the base of the mag on the table helped with the Mark IV's simpler design. Also, as a follow-on to our previous episode looking at the Sterling submachine guns magazine, Rich has also demonstrated the loading of a Sterling mag to its full 34 round capacity. And as we'll see, there is no magazine filler needed with George Patchett's double stack, double feed magazine.
So here's loading a Sterling magazine, 34 rounds fit on this one. We're able to just load it by hand, pop those in like so. Just pushing them back with our thumbs so they sit nicely against the rear of the magazine. Resistance is getting a little bit stronger now, but not excessively so. We've got the last round, just fits in there nicely. So there we go, full magazine.
Massive thanks to Richard for taking the time to film those clips. Please do go and check out his channel. We've worked together on a number of videos and projects, and his own content on the Vickers Machine Gun Collection and Research Association's channel is extremely interesting. In the future, we'll return to the Sten series and examine each of the guns in detail, from the very first prototype, the T40, right through to the MkIV and the suppressed models as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.